Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay, we appreciate you all. For the years, people have reached out, and we appreciate you all. If it's your first episode, thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Uh, if you're a continued listener, appreciate you for tuning in into the live or the replay. Today's episode is the Vault, episode 479. How many trusts do I need? This is definitely not legal advice or financial advice, but we definitely wanted to have the conversation today. This is one of those things where we're sure many people are going to Google this subject or search this subject. And they're going to say, well, how many trusts do I need? Because they're in a space now where there's this whole recommendation of doing that. So we're going to talk about it. It's not financial advice, it's not legal advice, but we are going to have the conversation. It might be uncomfortable for some. Some people might feel like, oh, well, why does it sound like that? Why does it sound like I'm hiding something? Because you're already asking, well, how many do you need? Hey, is there are people in the public that will say, why do you need one at all? So, how many do you need? This is the subject that we're going to talk about today because now we got the pirates on the ship. We got pirates on the seas. What do the pirates do? They tell you maybe you only need one. You think a lawyer's going to tell you only need one? Is there only one? There's over 80. Is it that many? It's at least that. Because the contracts are set up to the situation, just like when you'll see people ask the question about what is that, a public one. They'll ask about a land one, a land trust. How many trusts do you need? Hmm, we know how many. And so when we say we know how many, it's based off of the situation. Always going to be based off the situation. It's never based off of one cookie cutter approach. When you say how many do I need, what you start out with when you first get the knowledge, you might not end up with by the time you end up leaving planet Earth. You might have more than one as a situation for you. Some people ask this question, well, how many do I need? It is based off of you knowing your situation. You can reach out to the vault. You can get a consultation. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. That's the email you can reach out to. Christian at trustchristian.com. How many trusts do I need? It's going to be based off of your situation. So you got to get a consultation. That's how that works. How many do you need? Okay. How many do I need? How many do we need? When you find out that certain people passed away with hundreds, and you're wondering if it's just, okay, should I get one? Do I need one? See, this is the thing. People come into the training, but we actually have people coming through even the training right now, and they have multiple businesses. So a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs at the level where they're in trust, they have multiple business ventures going on. Multiple. They're managing multiple spinning plates. Well, it's based off of how many spinning plates you have spinning. What is your specific situation? How can we help you address that? That would be the question of the day. How many trusts do I need? That is a question that says, well, How many do I need to start out with? Well, that once again is based off of your situation. Everybody doesn't start the same. Some people start out with more than one. Right, some people just need one. Maybe a large portion only needs one. But at the end of the day, when you see that the system is in a put has a positioning of it's based off of your specific situation, that's why it's no cookie cutter approach to it. So when you see these box packages over the internet, oh man, internet, I need the free stuff. I need it for cheap, or I need it without relationships. Okay, the greatest environments that we've been in so far are based off of relationships. Point blank, period. Relationships. And you almost got a whole face, even in these environments where you're with the money. You got a whole face. There's no time to get in your feelings. It's time to show up and play ball. Investing in your private education. Investing in being in the private environments. How much are you willing to invest? How many trusts do I need? Well, that's an education question. Because it's about management. How many trusts do I need to manage? How many trusts am I going to have to manage? That's what you might ask yourself. Or how many businesses are you going to manage? We got one trustee, recent, over 100 employees. They actually have way more than that, but they have over 100 employees. How do you deal with that? Well, their situation is going to be different than somebody that is an employee. So we're excited and proud to have worked with as many people as we have. We look forward to continuously serving and working with people, families. Not everybody's the same. That's why we do the workshops. So you can actually come get in the room with other asset managers. And when you're in the room with other asset managers, and what's interesting is we go to bigger events. So people will say, oh, okay, well, what makes your environment so different at the vault? Well, we're very niche. Whereas, yes, some of the bigger environments, they're bigger, but they're still niche. They're private environments, definitely, no doubt about it. These people are managing over millions of dollars. You shouldn't even be walking in the room, quote unquote, if you don't have $1 million assets under management. That's how they look at it. So sure, the mentors would say those type of things. Oh, if you don't have $1 million, you just shouldn't even be worried about a trust. That's what they used to say. There's a difference between a need and a want. How many people need it? How many people just want it? Quite a few people don't need it, but they want it. And then sometimes the ones that need it, they just want it. But that's not always true. It's a higher ratio of those ones getting it because they really do need it and they just gotta get it. Whereas the ones that want it, eh, it's only a want. It's not a need. How many do I how many do I need? Hmm. This isn't legal advice or financial advice now. So we're always gonna give that disclaimer in the episode. How many do I need? Varying situations. Some people do come through trustee training as an employee. Some people come through trustee training as an entrepreneur. We've addressed these two classes of people. One creates an EIN, one uses a social. Because unless the company is operating from a 1099 position, most people are operating from a social. We had someone recently we talked to that said, "Oh, my family passed and we're receiving property and we have to create a contract that makes it beneficial for all the parties." There were last minute codicils that weren't added to the will. And then think about it. They went through probate. Probate means the lawyers are involved. How many trusts do I need? You might have more than one. Why not? But see, what's interesting is we've had people recently go through the trustee training at the vault, and it's been brought to our attention that these buffoons that have signed a non-disclosure, non-compete, literally think that they can just go out there and sell documents. They literally are promoting that, oh, I can help you get a private irrevocable trust. Well, how many do they need? Expert? Everybody wants to be an expert. That's the worst part. The vault's not an expert. We live in it. Experts don't live it. They're on TV. The experts are on the news. The people that live it, they're the Hall of Famers. They're the active trustees, not passive. Oh, I'm a passive trustee. I'm a passive beneficiary. How many do I need? Hmm. How many do I need? Let me say I need more than you know. You need more than you know. But most people, if you want to say that they don't because they may not do the work, that's on them. But even if you get in a position of a position, think about it. Oh man, we got somebody recently come us. We sit down with them. Yeah. And what did they say? Uh, what did they say? Oh man, I'm learning about a trust. Right. They learned about one. There's over 80. So when are you gonna pay up to play up? Now this is why the mentors say don't work with clients that don't have a million. Because then you can give them the system, the process and procedures to implement the strategy, the full strategies. Oh, I want to be like the wealthy. That's what they say. They talk about it like it's a joke or something. This is what the wealthy do. I always knew it. This is what the wealthy do. This is how they're doing it. Well, what are you going to do? You would think if you found the diamond, you would sell everything you had to get the diamond. But oh, no, no. You get people, they come on the line. You get people, you talk to people sometimes and you wonder, well, I think that's a great idea. I know that's a great idea. But I need you to sell me on private wealth. I need you to sell me on private transference of wealth. I need you to sell me on private estate. I need you to sell me on that. You want to know why? Because you're talking to someone in the public or slightly in the public. But even if you were in the private, the only thing is you didn't think of it as private. Because if you thought of it as private, anything that's private, you keep. The public, it might go away. But what's private, you can keep. How many people are in the right position? Maybe they're not. We already know why, ladies and gentlemen. It's called a public school education. We don't need to beat around the bush. The bush is burning. Hmm. The bush is a burning bush. It's in front of you. They say, "Oh man, I see what they're doing now." And now you got to live with that seed germinating in your heart every single day. Well, I know what they doing. The worst part about it is Henry Ford had less education than most of the people that are listening to this. Henry Ford, the first one. He had less formal education. He didn't even get out of high school. We're going to see how people show up in this generational wealth transfer. It's interesting because the boss been going on for over 5 years. We've had families come through for 5 years. We filled up rooms for over 5 years, and then we're still here for over 5 years. What's interesting to see after 5 years is a fairly consistent wave of families that are transitioning into the private. But whether you know it or not, whether y'all know it or not, look, look, look. When you get into the private, that's not a ticket. Oh man, I'm in the private. I made it. No, you still got to lift your muscles. This is where the waters got deeper. I want to be in trusteeship. The waters got deeper. This is where you're dealing with the whales. You got to have the confidence, right? You got to have the ability to lose it and get it back. You got people that say they make more money on a deal than asset protection for the rest of their life. How do you equate that? Because it's called cognitive dissonance. There's a disconnect between asset protection and really opportunity cost loss. Because they haven't been taught these probabilistic thought processes, which come from, whether they come from modern money mechanics or not. How many trusts do I need? They got these guys peddling a 1-2 system, 3-4 system, huh? What they got going on out here, ladies and gentlemen? We see the competition. We love to see the marketplace. We love to see it. It brings us nothing but joy to know that these half-assers, that's what you call them, they got to step up to the plate. We'll see you around. It's a small world. In the 1%, it's a small world. We'll see you at the Four Seasons, right? Or maybe not, because there's a private entrance. And this is a different life. This isn't to be on the internet trying to be the facial guru for the system. The private system. Think about it. Where's the private network in the public that's talking about private stuff? That they have a whole full-blown network and it's continuous private content. There's not. Why? Because there is a public and there's a private. The private is in private networks, private clubs. Oh, I don't want to hear about a secret society. That's what it is. It's private. They're not supposed to be out promoting the whole whatever we're doing, our agenda, because you want to sell it for a few bucks. You can't sell to private for a few bucks. That's why we provide the training. Because the training it's got to be training. Oh, when we see them change their programs, when we see the shift goes to, oh, we got to start training like the Vault because we're listening to the Vault. Maybe, iconic, maybe. Okay, no worries. Fine. You were listening. You tried to go to pivot to the training route. Fine. Been here. Did that. It's a lifestyle. It's like when you go to college, you're supposed to learn from a professor that's done the thing that they're educating you in. That's supposed to be the advantage, right? Right. That's an apprenticeship. Maybe college isn't set up that way completely. The vote is. We've had trustees go through week after week after week after week after week and get things done. Trustees come through, they love the trust cushion in the vault. Why? Because they get things done. They got things done for themselves. Across the country, people are in a private position. Their families have a fighting chance. They didn't get that education from public school. They didn't get it from the public college. And they want to dispute the price from the vault? How much is public college giving you? A debt? Is it giving you asset protection? And they put a price on it. No worries. That's great. Put a price on it. There is a price. It's an opportunity cost loss. Oh man, I'm doing business out here. I'm not thinking asset protection first. If you're not thinking asset protection first, that's the separator between the haves and the have nots. We say in the private, you keep it. In the public, you can lose it. And that's why people are okay with losing stuff in the public, because they're not used to having anything in the private that they could never lose, because it's not in their ownership. But they in control of the asset. It's still in their control. They just don't own it. Best prenup. How many do I need? Right off the rip, you might need 3. Husband, wife, family. Husband and wife might have something before they come to it. How many do I need? It might be more than 1. It might be more than 2. It might be 3. Because if you do 2, what are we going to combine? No, we don't need to do that. It's no prenup now. We don't need a prenup, possibly. We just go into something new together. Everything's protected. But oh, no, no. We don't know about living that way. I'm going to let myself be naked. And guess what? The worst part about it is it's funny because there are guys that go through the vault. And yes, they protect themselves from the downfall, which they do. But then there's also the women. They come through and they make sure they protect themselves if a downfall happens. They're protected. They have businesses. They might have had a partner or significant, whatever you want to call them, and they weren't too on board. They didn't come to the classes. They didn't come to the trustee training. They didn't come to sit on the calls. They didn't. Yep. People don't even have them on the documents. They're going to be in it by themselves. Is it bad? No. But this is someone that they sleep in the bed with every night. Maybe they don't. We're just saying it from the perspective of these are what you call couples. They're legally on paper as a legal couple. We're not trying to play games here. They're a legal couple on paper. And one says, I'm going to make sure I'm protected with or without you. So now one of the significant others in the parties is asset protected. Well, what's even worse now is that if the other specific, or if the other party doesn't know, doesn't learn, when it comes to hit the eject button in that divorce, it might be a little, we didn't get anything. We didn't get as much as we thought we were going to get. Maybe we got ripped for more than what we thought we were going to get, right? Or what we wanted to show, right? That's what happens. How many do I need? Now you know. It's 1, maybe 2, maybe more, because that's how it goes. That's just how it goes. So when people are walking into this, they come on the line. Don't think they don't come on the line. Already got my trust set up. This is what they say. Here's the line. We done heard it for years. We wish we could say it in the hundreds of voices that we've heard people say it in. Here we go. You ready? I got my trust already, or I got someone already doing a trust for me. But why they come into the vault? Because they know they need the trustee training. Because it's not about one. It's about the training. So even if you are in one, there's a training, there's a skill, there's a feel for the training. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the Vault, episode 479. How many trusts do I need? This is the question they ask all the time, but they don't really ask it at times. They'll come on the line for trustee training. They'll say, oh, I got to trust. What do I do? What do I do? That's an exaggeration. They don't say, what do I do? What do I do? But they come on and they say, oh, I'm in trust. I got to trust. Help me out, Trust Christian in the vault. How many trusts do I need? Oh, somebody created a trust for me, but I really don't know what the full scope of it is. They just kind of sold it to me, and I haven't been in touch with them since. So I really wanted to learn the private system, but they didn't teach me the private system. Oh, okay. Appreciate New York for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate New York for tuning in live, listen, replay. How many do I need? They say, oh man, get in front of your lawyers. They'll tell you how many you need. The public ones. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out. Consultations, trustee training. Look